Well, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let's say thanks to our God Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has given us mercies and blessings so we can gather together here without any trouble and obstacle. Secondly, my salawat and salam always be with our best messenger, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has brought us from the darkness to the brightness, from Jahiliyah era to the great era like right now. Thirdly, my special thanks I deliver to Mr. Kaharudin is IPM Home as my lecturer and my motivator who has given me this assignment so I can take my video about the math test material. And don't forget also my friends and my family who always support me in every condition and whom I love. First thing first, let me introduce myself. My name is Aulia Agusfina and I'm a student at the 6th semester of English Education Department at UIN Alauddin State of Islamic University. In this video, I will explain about the mid-test material, and in this video, there are two sessions that I will do. The first session is discussion about the urgency of studying discourse analysis in English language teaching and discourse analysis and ELT and the scope of discourse analysis. Then the second session is conclusion about the important point about the material. So, for the first session is about the urgency of studying discourse analysis in ELT. The first thing is the reason for studying discourse analysis. There are three reasons or perspectives used to explain discourse analysis, namely academic, pragmatic, and pedagogical reasons. First is academic reason. Learning about discourse analysis directs students to the exploration and investigation of socially used texts and speeches. There are two main activities that students will do in discourse analysis, namely studying the theoretical concept of discourse analysis and conducting specific discourse analysis. From here, students are expected to take advantage of learning, namely gaining the knowledge of discourse analysis, developing a critical mindset, making the results of discourse analysis a source and inspiration in teaching English. And the second reason is pragmatic reason. By studying discourse analysis seeks to identify the linguistic features and characterize language use, social and cultural factors that facilitate learners' interpretation and understanding of various genres of text and speech. Knowledge of the linguistic elements, social aspect, and culture of English will not make students good at making correct sentence, but also good at using sentence appropriately in context. Referring to these facts, it is important to bring discourse analysis into the English language teaching class for learning. Explores two important things in English, namely the form and the function of English, which naturally exist in the context of oral interactions and written text. And the third, as the last reason, is pedagogical reasons. Discourse analysis is like bridge that connects the teacher and the communicative approach in developing the communicative competence of language learners. Those who have studied linguistic and language skills should study discourse analysis as an academic subject at university. They are required to successfully disseminate and relate their knowledge of discourse analysis and pedagogical components in the classroom. Discourse analysis has a very close relationship with language teaching and learning, both foreign and second language teaching. Then, after knowing the reason for studying discourse analysis, I will also explain about the difference between discourse analysis and error analysis. And the difference is discourse analysis is a primarily linguistic study which examines the use of language by its native population orally and in writing. While error analysis is the study of language errors, especially in second language acquisition. Then, move to the next material is about discourse analysis and English language teaching. First, we must know what is discourse and discourse analysis. Discourse refers to an approach commonly used to examine language in the use of its social context. According to Edmondson, 1981 says that discourse is a structural event manifested in linguistic behavior of others or others, whereas a text is an arrangement of structural linguistic expression which forms a unity. And Carlson, 1983, reckons that discourse is a stretch of continuous utterance or a sequence of individual sentences. So it doesn't only consist of utterance or sentence which are grammatically well formed, while discourse analysis, according to Wikipedia.com, discourse analysis or DA or discourse studies is a general term of a number of appropriate to analyze written, vocal, or signed language use or any significant semiotic event. And according to Stapp 1983, discourse analysis refers to the attempt to study the organization of language above the sentence or above the clause, and therefore to study larger linguistic units such as conversational exchange or written text. Then about teaching and English language teaching. Teaching is defined as the process of imparting knowledge or skill to a group of students by applying three main stages. First is planning the teaching, the second is giving instruction in teaching, and the last is evaluating the teaching outcomes. And finally, if the notion of teachings is brought into the area of teaching English, then English language teaching can be interpreted as the process of imparting skill and knowledge of English to a group of students whose first language is not English through the implementation of three main stages. First is pre-teaching or planning, the second is while teaching or giving instruction, as well as the last is post-teaching or measuring learning outcomes. And to understand the relationship from both things, we need to learn the trend in ELT, theoretical perspective, and the trend of ELT in Indonesia, or factual perspective. For the reason, from the perspective of the writer's independent argument, discourse analysis and ELT are found to be tightly connected and inseparable. It is obviously seen from an indication that discourse analysis signifies language and language enables discourse analysis. Language is one method of communicating message, while discourse analysis can be used as a tool to disclose message being communicated. In a nutshell, the relationship between discourse analysis and language is symbolic and which one will not exist without the other. After that, move to the next material is about the scope of discourse analysis. The first thing is about spoken discourse. The ideas concerning spoken discourse. The first is language is verbally used by using speech in communication. The second is it constitutes a series of converting systems of sounds. And the last is its actual representation is speaking. Understanding speaking means to understand spoken discourse. Then the difference between classroom and casual conversation are the first is in casual conversation, people don't need to put their hands up if they want to speak. In classroom conversation, students are expected to do it if they want to say something. According to BAMS, teachers rarely ask questions to which they don't already know the answer. In real life, people normally ask questions to find out something they don't know. And the next is such age at all confirms that in casual conversation there exists quite complicated or machinery for ordering speakers turns, Consequently, in the classroom, it is usually the teacher who decides who speaks next and for how long. Then, the reason for analyzing discourse are first is to show its typical characteristic terms of structures, function, and so forth, which have made it different from casual conversation. The second is to encourage the students to know and to use the characteristic when they are in the classroom settings and want to involve in conversation therein. And the last is to see what goes on in the classroom and to evaluate the end products of our teaching and that of our students. And how to analyze the discourse or what the example. For example, teachers say, now then, I've got some things here too. Hands up. What's that or what is it? And students say, saw. Teachers say again, it is sound. Yes, this is a sound. By using our common eyes, we only see a dialogue extract between a teacher and his or her students. But by using discourse analysis, we will see different things. What is it? Sinclair and Coulthard 1975 discourse analysis for CLC using speech art approach. Speech art approaches refers to speech art theory, which claim that a classroom's conversation is a speech situation which consists of one or more speech events with different functions such as commissives, declaratives, directives, expressives, and representative. Sinclair and Coulthard found IRF pattern for analyzing conversation between teachers and students. The pattern shows that classroom conversation of NS commonly occur by using the following sequence. I stand for initiation. Teachers initiate conversation. R stands for response. Students response. And F stands for feedback. Teachers follow up. So things things are found from the analyzed or IRF patterns from analyzing conversation between teachers and students. The pattern shows the classroom conversations of NS commonly occur by using the following sequence. I stand for initiation, teacher initiates conversation, R stands for response, and F stands for follow-up. Things we see now are first, the discourse sequence which has formed the dialogue, and the second is the functions of each segment of the discourse sequence. So, move to the last section is conclusion. From things that I have explained before, we can conclude that there are three reasons for studying discourse analysis. Those are academic reason, pragmatic reason, and pedagogical reason. About teaching and ELT, teaching is defined as the process of imparting knowledge or skill to a group of students by applying three main stages. The first is planning the teaching, and the second giving instruction in teaching, and the last is evaluating the teaching outcomes. And finally, if the nation of teaching is the broke into the area of teaching English, the English language teaching can be interpreted as the process of imparting skills and knowledge by English to a group of students whose first language is not English through the implementation of three main stages. The first is pre-teaching or planning, the second is while teaching or giving instruction, and the last is post-teaching or measuring learning outcomes. Then the next material is about the scope of discourse analysis. The first thing is about spoken discourse. The, ide- the idea, the ideas concerning spoken discourse is the first is language is probably used by using speech in communication. It constitutes a series of conventional system of sounds, its actual representation is speaking. Then the reason for analyzing discourse are to show. The first is to show its typically characteristic in terms of students, structures, functions, on and so forth, which have made it different from casual conversation. The second is to encourage the students to know and to use the characteristic when they are in the classroom settings and want to involve in conversations therein. And the last is to see what goes on in the classroom and to evaluate the end products of our teaching and that of our students. This were about MC Carthy opinion 1991. So maybe that's all about my video. I hope my video can be benefit for us, and I do apologize if I have many mistakes in my video, and I want to say thanks to my friends and my family who always support me in making this video. And don't forget, and the last I will say that don't be afraid to make a mistakes because mistakes proves that you are trying. And the last I say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much.